at from manager level. The performance objective of performance planning, earlier we have discussed about that organizational level. Then second one is at managerial level, what kind of objectives are there for performance planning. So first one is what? To provide opportunity to employees for joint goal setting for greater ownership and accountability. That I already told you a lot about it. The more the ownership is there among the employees for a particular job, the greater the accountability is there, the better for the organization for achieving their target, because the organizational employees become more, you can say, responsible if they feel the ownership for a particular job, right? It should not be like that if something is going to be happen bad, then the responsibility goes to other. If it is something happens to be good, then they have to take that I have did that thing. It should not be like that, right? So it is only possible when the opportunity should be goes to the employees for deciding something combinedly with the managers, or setting a goals with the managers for providing or to make them feel about a greater ownership and accountability. Now, second is what? To clearly articulate performance matrices used to measure employees to perform success in meeting agreed goals and targets. So here, the major thing is what? It should be clearly articulate performance matrices used to measure employee to perform success in meeting agreed goals and targets. So that is the major thing here. You should have to be very much effective in while articulating or while designing a matrices or programming a kind of system that tells us that what exactly employee has did in a particular period of time. That means that you should have the capability, you should have that tools that effectively measure the performance of the employees for a particular period of time. So it will going to have successful only when you're going to have major, or you're going to have effective tools with you to measure the employees' performances. The better you're going to have measure them, the better the feedback you are going to giving to them about a particular job, the better the employees become successful in meeting out the goals and targets. Because if you're going to have measure them, if you know that what exactly they are in lacking for, what exactly that they are not doing effectively, if we're going to have make them enabled, if the system is enabled them to know their weaknesses and the loopholes, then they're going to have more effective over the job. They're going to have can say they can able to eradicate the weak points and other loopholes, and they're going to have perform more better in the organization, right? So performance of an employee become more successful when the organization have better matrices to measure the employees' performances, right? If the better it is, the better for the organization to meet out their goals and targets. Then next one, to provide training wherever required to equip the employee to perform as planned. So that is a major thing. I again that point we already have discussed earlier in the definition, that the better you know about the organizational employees requirement, the better for you to make them perform well in the organization. If the managers know that where their organizational employees, where their employees have a particular skill required, wherever what kind of skill is required for a particular job, if the employees knows this point, then what happens? They better provide the opportunity for them to learn or to train them for a particular job. If your employees have not better equipped, if their employees have not better trained for a particular job, then it's quite difficult for them to achieve the organizational performance. So your planning should be consists of this point also. As a manager, you should know that where your employees are lacking, where your employees need a more training to perform well in the organization. If you know that point, then you're going to have provide them a better environment for a job. You are going to provide them a better equipped um, environment for them, where they have that kind of ability to achieve their targets and goals effectively, right? So that is the major thing that performance planning should consist, right? Then to provide an ongoing on the job feedback, that again the same thing point came here. On the job feedback is very important, because whatever you are providing to your employees, whatever the kind of environment, whatever the training you have provided to them, whether it is fruitful for them or not, whether it is understandable by them or not, whether they are able to implement that trained technologies on the job or not. All things you should have to know, and it is only possible for you to know these facts when you have designed a on the job feedback system. The the better your feedback system is there, the better as a manager for you to to effectively implement the things in the organization. The better the feedback is there, you know your loopholes, you know what are the things that are more effective for the employees to perform well in the organization. If you are providing them training, and if that training is not inculcating them in an employees in a better way, then you have to design your train system in such a way that it will become more fruitful for your employees. How are you going to have know that point? When you have a better feedback system, right? So this is all about the at managerial level. Now it's an at employee level, the objectives of performance planning at employee level to determine performance goals and targets with the manager. That is the major thing. As an employee, the managerial responsibility is there to convey you about the organizational objective, goals, and target. But you, as an employee, also have responsible for understanding all these things. If it is not going to be understandable by you, if it is something is there that not communicated to you properly, then is employee responsibility also to clear that point, so that performance of an employee become more effective in the organization, right? To view managers as a counselor or mentor rather than someone who passes the judgment. That is the major point, because it's all the second point is basically based on what, how a particular environment of the organization is going to be designed by the management. If the management is going to have designed that organization in a very productive manner, then employee is going to consider their manager as a counselor. They think like that they are their mentor means they are their guru. Whatever they are telling to them, it's not only the passing out certain judgment, it is not only that, it is something that make them trained, it is something that employees is going to have learned. If the employees have that kind of feel that my manager whatever conveying to me, if I'm going to do that, then I'm going to have learned something, right? I'm going to have developed my own personality. I'm going to have developed my own career in this organization. If that much of feel is there, then definitely the employees become more effective in the organization, right? If they feel like whatever the managers are telling to them is just an judgment, it just what they're doing, it just they are just passing out the judgment to us, then it is not good for the organization, because then employees are not become more responsible. If the employee is considered their manager as a counselor, as a mentor, as a guru, it means that whatever they are telling to them, they are going to take that words very seriously, and they are going to do their job in very responsible way, right? Then third point, to become receptive to feedback. That is a major thing. If something came out from the organizational soft flow or from the ground of the organization that this is not effective one, and if that manager have did that thing, if the manager had improved that thing, then that feedback should be receptive by the employees. For example, if any of the employee is not performing well because of any reason, and if that is known to manager, and if after that feedback, if the manager is going to counsel the employees, then employees should not have to take that thing negatively, that someone is telling me about my own work. That negative point should, that negative point of view should not be there. They have to think like that, this is my mentor, he's my mentor, he's my guru, and whatever the feedback he's giving to me, it means that he want to make me effective, he want to make me to learn something, he want that I'm going to have grow in this organization. If that much of point will be there, if that much of point of view, positive point of view is there for the manager, for the employee towards the manager, then only the feedback become receptive. If I'm going to have tell you something that you are not good at this particular work, then you should have to be take it very positively. You have to be improve yourself. If you're going to have take it negatively, that how you're going to tell me this thing, I am an expert over this work, how you're going to have tell me that I'm not perfect in this work. If you're going to have take this thing, then you're going to have argument with your manager. No, I have did my work very effectively, who are you to tell me this thing? If that much of thing will come on the organizational level, then it means that the employees and managers relation is not going to perform well. And if an employee is going to have take that feedback in a very receptive manner, if they have took that thing, yes, I have did something wrong, and my manager is trying to improve my work, my manager is trying to improve my learning level, then it will become positive for the organization. Okay. Then third point, to develop self-efficacy for providing information on self-performance. So self-efficacy is means something is there that make you responsible to feel, right? Efficacy in the sense, if you feel that whatever you are doing, that results when it will come, then you are responsible for that, then definitely the performance is going to improve. So to develop self-efficacy for providing information on self-performance. So if whatever you have did in the organization, if your manager is providing you information about your performance, that whatever you have did, it's good for you, then if they are providing you the right kind of information, wait, so we are discussing about the self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is the kind of concept that make you enabled to understand about the certain situation, that make you can say knowledgeable, that make you more informative about your own capabilities. If you have know that you are in a position to influence any situation, then it is called self-efficacy, right? So that self-efficacy, if it is more, then you become more confident, right? How it is going to come, how you going to have become more effective when you have that information about your self performance, right? As an employee, if you have an information, if you have particular information about whatever you have did on in at organizational level, then what happens, you are confident about the particular work. So if you have that much of knowledge or information about your own performance, then you become confident for a kind of work. For example, if I'm going to have send it to you for any kind of recruitment process, and if you have recruited a very effective employees for the organization, and if you have known to that particular fact that yes, I am very much effective, I am very much you can say capable of recruiting a right kind of candidate for the employees, then that called a self-efficacy. You know about yourself, and it is only be possible when you have more informative towards your own self-performance, right? So this is only be possible, that self-efficacy is only be possible in an organization to develop for an employee, then it is very good for the organization to make it more effective. So performance planning should consist that also. You should have to be very much knowledgeable about your employees, and the employees also have that kind of level to understand their own performances. If it is more communicated to them effectively that you have did this thing, you have did that thing, you have achieved that much of target, and if the employee have known to that facts, then they become more confident toward their job. So it is very important for the organization at performance planning, for performance planning at employees level, to develop this self-efficacy, right? For today's class, it is sufficient, where we have discussed about the meaning of performance planning. Then we have discussed about the objectives of performance planning at level of organization, at organization level, at managers level, and finally at employees level, right? Now tomorrow we're going to have continue with some more points under the same heading, that is performance planning. Okay.